let's just walk through our audience, students, with the same dream, or will be watching the interview, preparing for NLSAT 2027. Let's just start off with a little bit of your journey as to when did you start preparing, how NLSAT, what your undergrad discipline, everything. So, like, in brief, walk us through your journey.
I figured out that I wanted to pursue law through political science. Like I found that field very interesting, so I did bit more research, and I found law after that. So after first year only, I was like, okay, mujhe, after my degree, I need to get an LLB ka degree. So I started doing research, and I didn't know at the time that has started offering 3 year courses, which was very surprising. And at that time, it felt like, okay, this is for me. Like they've started this thing for me because I've decided to get an LLB degree because it's such an elite school. And to find out that just 1 year ago they have started this thing, it was very surprising and it felt like fate to me at the time. So first year I did a lot of research, see what else schools are there, what are the rankings, and how good it is. I looked up a lot of YouTube videos and all. Then around second year, in the last semester of second year, that's when I started preparing. Like I started looking up coaching centers and what to do. Since this was it's not difficult per se, but it is still a very complex and a different kind of an exam. Like in usually competitive exams, there's just MCQs, and
Yes.
MCQs, so you know how to study. Since it was also writing, so that uske liye I wanted coaching. So I started coaching in last year June. That was specifically for answer writing and for my GK. And so I started very slow, dhire dhire, because I started at a point where most people are like कि अभी start करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है because it's not difficult. But for me, I wanted कि if I start now, I will be able to like sort out problems जैसे time management issues और ये सब kinks हटाती जाऊंगी अपने plan से. So I need to start early. So I started in June, and June, July, August, धीरे धीरे I started building up, and it got by the end of December, my syllabus per se was complete in the sense that I had covered most of the GK part, and legal writing I had an idea what they were expecting. So that's when I kind of stopped with NLSAT preparation and I focused on my backup, which was CUET. And since CUET is like it has arithmetic and thoda different aspect
Right.
is from NLSAT, so I had to like kind of separate these two. And from January till February, I focused entirely on CUET, gave my CUET, and then I got so exhausted after that that I stopped studying entirely. So I would say like I had 6 months of preparation at max, and that's when I gave. Like by the time actually exam had come, I was so exhausted. I was like, I know मेरा नहीं होगा, मुझे नहीं दे, like I'll just go and give it, and due तो हो ही गया, so it's chill. So that has been my journey, like pretty much. It has a lot of ups and downs,
Lots
but
of
I
ups and
think
downs.
like
I
the
understand.
the hours I put in earlier in June when I had a lot of energy, that helped me a lot.
So I think we'll just continue. See, very interesting. Highlighted that. So the problem with NLSAT is that, of course, it's difficult for a lot of people. That depends upon the kind of background that you come from, but it actually expects you to build certain skills, the ability to write, comprehension, and it tests your reading stamina. Now, what happens is usually, but most specifically with the advent of technology, we're a little out of these skills, out of touch with these skills. So it takes time. Something that I also suggest all my students, that the earlier you'll start, the edge that you have. So you very beautifully articulated and explained that all that hours that you had initially put in actually helped you, because building any skill takes time. And more so specifically, once you're targeting a bucket of examination, so usually the cycle for LLB entrances is from March to June. We start off with a CUT somewhere like last week March, and then we end with most of LLB entrances by the end of June. So it's like March, April, one exam after another. So if you do
Yeah,
not start early, and if you're targeting a bucket of examinations, you're unnecessarily inviting pressure, and then pressure will mount on your shoulders and it become very overwhelming. More
Yeah.
specifically, since most of you are preparing alongside college.
Yes, exactly.
Then,
Yeah.
yes, then semester exams, practicals, and a lot of other things. I mean, college life is hectic for many reasons. You have a social life, you have to stay connected, co-curriculars, etc. So the earlier you start, you're able to space out your preparation really well versus
Yeah.
waiting till the very end and then start preparing. So I think very beautifully highlighted. And I would just want to understand a little. So you're currently pursuing BA in political science, right? Your
Yes.
final year from Delhi University. So
Yes.
were there
Yes.
like any other career choices that you weighed and then it was law that you decided? It was always an inclination, and so political science, you would be able to utilize it while pursuing law as well, and once you'll be practicing as well. So was there a genuine inclination, or there were other career options also that you weighed in and then you decided on to law?
Well, I would say a general inclination because when I was in 12th, I wanted to pursue forensics because it would lead me to sort of be part of that kind of a life. But then I didn't opt it out. But then I thought ki political science is a good option for me because I just found it interesting. But yeah, eventually after certain kind of canceling everything out that I didn't enjoy or wasn't good at, I came to law. Ki it just I think it fits my personality very well. Well, I'm a good writer and I also have a good analytical skills, and I enjoy that kind of thing. You know, you're reading something, you're trying to understand it. That
Understand?
gives me kind of enjoyment. So I just figured that it was like a very. But I in 12th I had no idea that I would ever go for law as a career. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we do interact with a lot of students who had attempted CLAT, could not get through, and thus, it felt very organic to them to finally give another attempt to NLSAT. But then there are also like a lot of stories like you, that you were exposed to law as a career option while pursuing your undergrad degree, and that's when you decided. Otherwise, what usually happens is that once you're done with your grad, they're like very conventional choices to either go for, say, like masters, same extension of what you did in undergrad, maybe like MBA, or start preparing for government examinations. I think students still are yet to explore that law is a great career option, great career upgrade that one can consider after graduation, regardless of whichever discipline they are from. So I think this story is going to inspire and motivate a lot of students to give,
Yeah, I hope so.
to give law due consideration, and to consider that career option, that if at all they can pursue something that they can pursue post graduation. Now that brings me to how was your journey? Like, how were the mocks helpful? When did you started solving mocks and anything? So answer this question more from perspective of that somebody who will be appearing for NLSAT 2027 is also taking notes.
Okay. So I think a mistake I made that I kind of regretted it halfway, but since I had started so early, I was able to correct it. Is that giving mocks just for the sake of giving mocks? You know, in our head we have that kind of a mentality कि अच्छा 10 mocks हो गए 15 हो गए, so we must be very good now. Like अब तो हो ही जाएगा. Like that kind of a mentality. But that was the mistake I made कि अच्छा एक हो गया दो हो गया तीन हो गया I'm good. But I would say कि to like I started in December because I've told you my whole schedule with
Yes,
CBT
yes.
and all. So I started in December. The entirety of December, I had mapped out for mocks. Before that, I had completed everything, all the different parts. So December was dedicated for mocks. So I would every like in a week, at least twice a week, I was able to give a mock. Okay, but my frustration came from the fact that market made like at least I couldn't find very good mocks in all the websites. Either people are not offering them because it is such a new examination, or they're offering them and they're not of good quality. And वो मतलब chat GPT से बन के आ रहे हैं, I'm not sure all that thing. So legal edge, legal edge the mocks when I picked up. That's what I felt like. कि ये सब it's the closest to the PYQs that I've seen, जो offer किए गए हैं. So that's why I picked uh, उसका mock. And it was CBT, which is it's like बहुत ज़्यादा not similar to the ones we are supposed to give. But yeah, twice a week I would give. Okay, and eventually, like halfway through December, I decided कि this twice a week wala thing is too much for me because ये दो एनालाइज करने में इतना ज्यादा टाइम लग रहा है that I'm not doing it properly and फिर मैं improve नहीं हो पा रहा. So I after that I shifted to once a week, and I think I would say I've done only 5-6 mocks for the entirety of my prep. So this is a bit unconventional, but I think it worked for me. So
I so see, each student is very unique, and so is their and so are their needs. So
yeah,
when we say mentorship, it's like tailored to your needs.
yes, yes,
Ideally, it is 20% mocks and 80% of analysis. So the more
yes,
mocks that you'll write and you'll analyze them, it's how you build knowledge. Plus, it varies from one individual to another. Say, for instance, I know that you come from a certain background, so you were already very versed with reading. I mean, reading wasn't really a challenge for you, comprehension wasn't really a challenge for you. So, every student should actually sit down, do a very thorough assessment of their strengths and weaknesses, and then take a call. So, each time a student asks me, like, how many marks I should write, see, it also depends upon how versed with you are with certain things.
yes, yes, yeah,
Write good 20-25 mocks, practice as much as you can. Of course, the number will vary if you're like closer to the examination or you have like more time and you have like spaced it out very well. But it's a good number of mocks that because a good number of mocks for anyone to attend because initially a lot of mocks is also go pass by just to build that familiarity with the mocks.
yes,
By the time you reach say like the 12th mock, the 15th mock is when you start to actually do it, start to take it as if you're writing the examination. Initially a lot of mocks are consumed in just building that familiarity that oh, and testing your reading stamina and comprehension and everything. So just quickly pick up one point. So you mentioned like the mocks were helpful and the CBT part. So I think that's what I remember talking. Interestingly, remember talking to like another student. So it specifically timed them part A so that you guys are conditioned to not exceed and spend any more time. And that's how.
yeah,
Um, and that conditioning is done from the very beginning because like 65 minutes is tops for part A, and primarily to cater that you guys get like an offline exposure as well. We did conduct a lot of all India open mocks so that you guys do get that exposure to offline mocks. So I think that's how the team puts in the effort to build that mock system or the testing ecosystem at our end. Very fun and interesting conversations, Varnima. And just to conclude, any suggestions for NLSAT 2027 aspirants and things that should be like things are non-negotiable and they should take note of?
I think that was the pivotal part of my journey is that book helped like sort of brought me to the next level and kind of made it easier for me to score as much as I did. Yeah.
I agree. I think there's a lot of comprehensive study material that we give. So we have physical books, I mean, available both physical and e-reader format, just to ensure actually cater to the practice part of it, so that you have like sufficient amount of material available for loads and loads of practice. And I think one very interesting piece in your answer was that state specific GK. I think that's a trend that I've observed across LLB entrances that started to incorporate state specific GK with NLSAT. Of course, there was for Karnataka. Then for CNLU Patna, if my memory serves well, there were a couple of questions. Similarly with Odisha. So I think these are a couple of observations that are extremely important for students, and so that their preparation is aligned with what the exam demands, because while it's important to know what to study, it's also important to know what not to study. So your preparation has to have like a path. But thank you so much, Swarnima, for your time. It was extremely fun interacting with you, and I'm sure students have a lot to learn. They will learn a lot, inspired, motivated, and all the best. I'll be waiting for your pictures from NLS.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.